At the time of this filming, arguably one of the most anticipated films in UFO history is about to premiere this Sunday, March 9th at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. The Age of Disclosure by Dan Farah. Farah, who is the producer and director of the film, worked with Steven Spielberg on Ready Player One and will undoubtedly bring significant credibility and production value to this project. The film is promised to reveal never-before-heard details about the 80-plus-year UFO cover-up and the not-so-secret anymore Cold War amongst major nations to reverse engineer technology of exotic, non-human origin. Beyond the obvious acknowledgements of the program, I'm hoping the film will expose the profound impact that the situation could have on the future of humanity, and also a look behind the scenes with those at the forefront of the governmental disclosure efforts. According to Farah himself, and from looking at the limited cast list that has been released, all interviewees have direct knowledge of some element of the UFO phenomenon as being real, either as first-hand witnesses or as a result of their years or decades of work deep in the U.S. government and or U.S. intelligence agencies. Director Farah has hinted at the caliber of his sources, stating, "None of the government officials that I engaged with are questioning the authenticity of these phenomena." Note that plural use of phenomena there. And before the haters start in about the same old characters spewing the same old nothing burgers, Farah claims to have secured interviews with individuals who have never before spoken publicly about their UFO experiences or knowledge. In fact, insider whispers that have leaked about the documentary report the film touches on sensitive topics that even some of the interviewees disagree about being shared in this film, stating those facts should remain classified for national security reasons. And for the "I want to see it with my own eyeballs" crowd, previously unreleased footage is also reported to be included in this film. While the full cast of interviewees remains under wraps, the Age of Disclosure states it will feature at least 34 of the highest senior members from the U.S. government, military, and intelligence community that have ever been featured in a full UFO documentary. Here are just a few highlights of those who will be featured in this epic film. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, arguably the premier legislative driver for transparency in the background of all of this. He co-sponsored the 2023 UAP Disclosure Act and has publicly stated that high clearance officials with UFO claims hold and have held very high positions in the government. He states in the film teaser that even presidents are operating on a need-to-know basis. Then there's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a Democratic senator from New York, a significant political figure in the UAP disclosure movement, and was also a co-sponsor of the bipartisan UAP Disclosure Act back in 2023, along with Senators Schumer, Rounds, and Rubio. Speaking of Rounds, he's also in this. He's a Republican senator from South Dakota and fellow bipartisan advocate for the UAP transparency. Rounds, again, co-sponsor of the UAP Disclosure Act, and has worked consistently to push for greater government transparency on the UFO topic, participating in congressional hearings and major legislative efforts regarding the unexplained UFO phenomenon. Also hear from Mike Gold, a member of NASA's UAP study team, who has been involved in the scientific examination of the UFO phenomena from the space agency's perspective. Then there's Admiral Tim Gallaudet, the former chief of oceanography for the Navy and the head of NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, who I've covered in a past episode, and I'll link that below, and who has previously confirmed the presence of non-human intelligence and the reverse engineering programs. We'll also hear from Brett Feddersen, the former director of aviation security on the White House's National Security Council. It'll feature senior scientists like Dr. Gary Nolan and quantum physicist Hal Puthoff, who have worked on multiple government UAP programs. And of course, there's everyone's favorite superhero or supervillain, depending on your view, Lou Elizondo, who looks to feature prominently in the film. We'll also hear from Colonel Carl Nell, an elite military, aerospace, intelligence insider who I've covered extensively on this channel, who, for me, has the most staggering statements currently on record confirming the phenomena. And then a few others that I'm really looking forward to hearing from are Jay Stratton, the former Defense Intelligence Agency official and director of the U.S. government's UAP task force. Jay was instrumental in creating the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program, or OSAP. And that was the first official U.S. government UFO program since Project Blue Book ended in 1969. Jay has worked for over 16 years on the UFO and non-human intelligence investigations as a high-level senior intelligence official and has served 32 years across the Army, Air Force, Naval Intelligence, and the DIA. He was the chief of air and space warfare at the DIA, and while at the DIA, discovered evidence of advanced UFO objects that couldn't be traced to any known adversary. He established the whole of government interagency UAP task force at the request of the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense. Jay was David Grush's actual boss at the UAP task force. And he stated, "We are at the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. The process of disclosure is complex, but it has begun." And lastly, he has personally witnessed unexplained phenomena and arguably made the most eye-opening statements I've ever heard during the teaser.
"I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings."
Wow. Then there is Lieutenant General James Clapper, hands down the highest-ranking intelligence officer to appear in this documentary. He is the former Director of National Intelligence, which is the highest position within the national intelligence apparatus in the country and arguably the world. I'm very much looking forward to his perspective on the UFO issue and his extensive experience overseeing the entire U.S. intelligence community. And then we have Jim Semivan, former senior CIA official who retired in 2007 after a 25-year career in the CIA's National Clandestine Service. Jim is a former member of the CIA's Senior Intelligence Service and recipient of their Career Intelligence Medal. He has made several public claims about non-human intelligence, non-human technology existing here on Earth, and that UFOs are here, they are real, and they are not human, resoundingly rejecting the notion that Russian or Chinese technology is responsible for any UFO reports. He's also a first-hand experiencer with the UFO phenomena himself. And finally, probably my most anticipated guest, who I hope has a lot of dialogue in this film, is astrophysicist Eric Davis. Yes, that Eric Davis of the Wilson Davis Memo fame. Davis has worked on multiple government UFO programs. He was involved in the Pentagon's ATIP program and previously worked for the National Institute of Discovery Science. Besides the Wilson Davis Memo, he is well known for his research into breakthrough propulsion physics and his claimed direct knowledge of UFO crash retrieval programs. He was contracted as an astrophysicist by ATIP to analyze UFO propulsion systems and materials. And he co-authored DIA papers on warp drives, wormholes, and quantum vacuum energy. Davis has also claimed that ATIP never actually ended and still investigates UFOs under new management, which, like many programs in the U.S. government that never actually end, they just change names so that we can't track or FOIA them. And so that rings very true here. And not everyone who was interviewed will appear in the film. Some officials reportedly opted out due to fears that discussing this topic could harm their professional reputations. A reminder to the haters who always claim everyone is a grifter, yet seem to forget that for people of this magnitude, coming out with flippant UFO bullshit claims do way more harm than benefit to their careers. Which means you must always ask, why would they take that risk? So, when can you and I get a look at this film? Well, commercial distribution is still in the works, and essentially the debut at South by Southwest is the unveiling initially to the public, but also to potential distributors. From there, any potential interested media or distribution companies will bid on the rights for the film. I'd assume it would be another month or 3 before we have any news about a full public distribution date or platform. But in the meantime, I'm sure we'll see leaked clips from this show at South by Southwest. For me, personally, with movie trailers, I try to avoid them for movies that I'm wanting to see. I want to avoid any spoilers and will usually wait until I can sit down and watch the complete film in full. However, anything that leaks on this one, I'll be digging into any clips like a rabid werewolf who's been starved out on Skinwalker Ranch. So fingers crossed that we get distribution sorted sooner than later, if it's not already done, and whoever ends up with the rights to this movie hopefully will get it out to us ASAP. I, for one, am very much looking forward to paying full sticker price to see it as soon as I can, even if for no other reason than to support the tremendous production effort and quality finish that went into making this film. And with that, grab your popcorn and your favorite drink, and I'll see you at the movies, my friend.